eyes into hypnotic portals. Tashina's measured, corporate demeanor dissolved into something far more dangerous. Lilin wasn't just a persona, she was a predator, and Atlanta streets was her hunting ground. Her targets were selected by the Syndicate, a secretive network of influential figures who operated behind the scenes of the city. Politicians, CEOs, cartel bosses, anyone who threatened the Syndicate's agenda eventually fell prey to Lilin's allure. The encrypted messages arrived at unpredictable moments, resembling the covert whispers of a forbidden affair, each containing only a name, a location, and a deadline. Tonight was no different. The sun had set over Atlanta, casting a golden glow over the city's skyline. Tashina, perched on the rooftop garden of her midtown apartment, took a moment to appreciate the beauty of the city she called home. With her chamomile tea in hand, she allowed herself a rare moment of stillness, watching the last rays of daylight vanish behind the high-rises. Her phone buzzed on the table beside her, the soft vibration breaking her brief relaxation moment. She reached for it, her light brown eyes scanning the message. Encrypted, the Syndicate, another target. She sighed, setting the cup down, her lips curved into a small sardonic smile. And so, the transformation begins. She stood, her silhouette framed by the city lights. Tashina's corporate attire fell away as she slipped into her second skin. The catsuit gleamed under the dim light of her apartment, her reflection in the floor-to-ceiling windows both familiar and alien. Smoky eyeliner transformed her gaze into something predatory, something otherworldly. Tashina was gone. Lilin had arrived. The encrypted message had been succinct. Michael R. Graves, Club Euphoria, midnight. Michael was a former Syndicate member turned liability, someone who thought he could betray the hand that fed him and live to tell the tale. Lilin knew his type well. Arrogant, reckless, a man who believed himself untouchable. It was almost too easy. Club Euphoria was a neon-lit playground for Atlanta's elite, a place where power and vice intertwined in a dance as old as time. Lilin entered the club like a storm cloud, her presence commanding the room without a word. Heads turned, conversations faltered. She was every man's dream and every woman's competition, a vision that demanded attention and promised danger. Michael was at the VIP bar, flanked by two women who laughed too loudly at his jokes. Lilin's gaze locked onto him, her lips curving into a smile that didn't reach her eyes. She approached with measured steps, the sway of her hips a calculated weapon. "Mind if I join you?" Her voice was honeyed steel, sweet but unyielding. Michael's eyes widened briefly before he recovered, flashing a grin that oozed self-assurance. "Well, am I lucky tonight?" Lilin leaned in, her hand brushing his arm. "Luck has nothing to do with it." As Lilin spoke, she studied Michael's body language. He leaned towards her, his bravado evident in the way he puffed out his chest, his gaze flickering between her eyes and her lips. He was predictable, like every other mark she'd taken down. But her allure wasn't just physical. It was the way she made him feel like he was the center of the universe. "I've heard a lot about you," she whispered, her fingers tracing the rim of her glass. The drink she'd ordered was untouched, a prop in her performance. "And Michael Graves, the man who's always 3 steps ahead." He chuckled, the sound a mixture of pride and intoxication. "What brings someone like you into my world tonight?" She sauntered to him, each step deliberate. "I like danger," she said, her voice dripping with seduction. "And you, Michael? You're the most dangerous man in the room." His laugh was a low rumble as he set the glass down. "You're not wrong." Lilin closed the distance between them, her fingers trailing along his jawline. He shivered under her touch, his confidence wavering as her lips hovered with a slight breathing near his ear. "But even dangerous men have weaknesses," she whispered. "What's yours, Michael?" He swallowed hard, his bravado faltering. "Maybe it's you," she smiled, a predator's smile. "Good answer." In one fluid motion, she pushed him into the leather chair, straddling him. Her hand slid to his crotch, pinning him in place as her lips brushed against his neck. He was hers now, completely under her spell, but Michael's moment of euphoria was short-lived. In a heartbeat, Lilin's demeanor shifted. Her hands tightened around his dick, and the playfulness in her eyes was replaced by cold determination. His confusion turned to terror as she leaned in, her voice a low, venomous hiss. "You betrayed the Syndicate, Michael. I am Lilin, and they sent me to remind you that no one gets away with that." He gasped, his hands clawing at hers as panic set in. Tears start to fall from his eyes. He only heard that Lilin was just a ghost. "Wait. Please, I can fix it. I'll do whatever they want. Just don't—" Lilin cut him off, her grip unrelenting. "Shh," she whispered, in her honey golden voice, her lips brushing against his ear. It's too late for that. Michael's struggles grew weaker as Lilin reached with her right hand into her boot and retrieved a small, gleaming blade. She pressed it against his chest, her eyes locking with his. As she was stroking his penis, and as he was about to reach his peak, she whispered, "Do you feel it?" He groaned. "Yes," she whispered. "The end?" Tears streamed down his face as he choked out his final words. "Please, just make it quick." Lilin's smile returned, cold and unfeeling. "Of course, I'm nothing if not merciful." With one swift motion, the blade plunged into his heart. Michael's body jerked once, then went still. Lilin stepped back, wiping the blade clean with a handkerchief she'd taken from his pocket. She left the playing card, a single black ace, on his chest, a message to anyone who dared cross the Syndicate again. As she slipped out of the suite, blending seamlessly into the crowd below, her phone buzzed with a new message.